Hey there. So yesterday we were talking about some of the changes that were happening in the real estate world, and today I just want to focus on buyer representation. Before, when a buyer was shopping for a home, even though an agent might be working with them, there may have not been an agreement between them in writing of how relationship was formed. So now it is required for buyers working with agents to actually have a buyer broker agreement signed. It's called a buyer representation broker compensation agreement, called the BRBC, and that is something that needs to be done before looking at any homes. It explains the relationship that the buyer agent has with their client, and it also talks about how a buyer agent gets compensated. There's really three major ways that a buyer does get compensated. By the way, a seller, when they are offering a commission, it gets paid actually to the buyer broker, not to actually to the agent, and then the broker pays the agent. But the buyer negotiates for the seller to pay compensation that the buyer owes the buyer brokers pursuant to the BRBC. Number two, the buyer negotiates for the seller to offer a buyer credit or a seller concession, or both, which may offset the buyer's obligation to pay the buyer broker pursuant to the BRBC. And the third one is that the buyer may pay the buyer agent directly pursuant to the BRBC. I don't know if that makes sense to you. It may need some more explanation, but at least at this point, a BRBC is required to work with an agent. So let's work together. Cheers.